Serena's day began like any other in the heart of Los Angeles, a city where dreams and drama danced in the humid air of summer afternoons. The sun's rays glinted off the boutique's chic glass windows, where carefully curated designer accessories beckoned passers-by. As she assisted longtime customer Mrs. Jenkins in selecting the perfect silk scarf, Serena's phone vibrated with a message that would irreversibly change the course of her life. Before we dive deeper into this tale, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and if stories like this resonate with you, consider subscribing to our channel. Tomorrow, we have another special narrative waiting just for you. The text was terse and unapologetically cold. Don't bother pleading, Madison and I leave tomorrow. I've already emptied our joint account. For a moment, Serena's steady hands paused, and a flicker of disbelief crossed her features. But as she wrapped Mrs. Jenkins' purchase in the boutique's signature silver paper, the only outward sign of the tumult within was a slight tightening around her eyes, a subtle farewell to the 12 years she'd shared with Blake. Without a tremor in her voice, Serena typed a curt reply, "Good luck." It was a declaration, as much as a farewell, a signal that while Blake fancied himself the hero of his own grand exit, she was about to pen an entirely different story. Serena's mind raced back over the past few months. The red flags had been there all along. Endless late nights at the boutique while Blake's bank deposits grew mysteriously inconsistent, unexplained password changes on his phone, and his newfound obsession with the gym and designer clothes, all in a desperate bid to recapture a youth long past. 3 months earlier, a receipt for an extravagant dinner for two at an upscale restaurant, on a night he claimed to be working late, had rattled her. It was then that she discreetly opened a second bank account, transferring her personal savings to safety while letting the joint account contain just enough to lull him into complacency. That fateful evening, as Blake's text arrived with news of his impending escape with Madison, the new receptionist at his office, whose bright laughter and coy glances had once captivated him, Serena's mind was already several steps ahead. Instead of replying, she reached for the phone and dialed the number of her trusted lawyer, Jordan, whom she had consulted after noticing inexplicable hotel charges on their credit card statement. "It's time to move forward," Serena said, her tone icy yet resolute. "He's made his move, let's ensure he pays the price." Jordan's calm voice on the other end of the line conveyed confidence. "The papers are ready. I'll file them first thing tomorrow. Do you want me to serve him in Scottsdale?" Serena chuckled darkly. "Let him think he's won first," she replied, already envisioning the certified letters that would soon land on his doorstep. Later that day, Serena returned to her beloved boutique, a vibrant space she had built from scratch and nurtured into a thriving enterprise. With each passing moment, the sound of bustling shoppers and upbeat indie music playing softly in the background reminded her that life, with all its chaos, marched relentlessly on. Amid the rhythmic clack of her heels on polished hardwood floors, Serena allowed herself a private moment of reflection. Here, in this urban haven, she had found solace and independence. The boutique was more than just a business, it was a symbol of her tenacity, her careful planning, and her refusal to be defined by someone else's shortcomings. As the evening wore on, her phone buzzed relentlessly with messages from Blake, each one a mix of condescension and manipulative charm. One message read, "I know this must be hard for you, you're not getting any younger. At least you have your little shop to keep you busy." Serena smiled wryly at the irony. The very shop he had mocked was the foundation of her renewed strength and autonomy. Every message was meticulously screenshot and archived as evidence, a digital trail of Blake's reckless decisions and his attempt to control the narrative. While preparing for the next day's legal battles, Serena discovered an old wedding album tucked away in a dusty box. Flipping through the pages, she saw a younger Blake, charming, hopeful, and unburdened by the insecurities that had since overtaken him. Now, with his midlife crisis in full swing, he donned clothes that were just too tight, as if he were trying to squeeze the last vestiges of his youth into a frame that no longer fit. The images served as a stark reminder: the man who had once promised forever was now unraveling before her eyes. That night, Serena dialed the credit card company. When a crisp voice answered, identifying herself as Mrs. Carter, Serena wasted no time. "I need to report fraudulent charges immediately. 2 first-class tickets to Scottsdale, hotel reservations at the Palm Springs Grand, and I need my ex-husband removed as an authorized user." Mrs. Carter's tone was professional, yet beneath it lay a hint of satisfaction. She understood that Serena was about to turn the tables in a way that would leave Blake reeling. Meanwhile, Blake's texts grew increasingly frantic. "What did you do to our credit card? The airline won on our tickets." Read one message. But Serena's mind was already set on the next phase of her plan. The boutique, her sanctuary, was abuzz with orders for designer handbags and chic accessories, a testament to her unwavering dedication and the community's support. Her calm was unshaken, even as Blake's texts veered between anger and desperation. In the quiet solitude of her home, a charming house inherited from her grandmother, maintained solely in her name despite Blake's persistent requests to share the deed, Serena poured herself a glass of the good stuff, a vintage wine she had been saving for a moment like this. As she arranged the final paperwork, she discovered something that made her smile: a particularly scathing text from Blake, where he bragged about emptying their account and booking flights for his escapade with Madison. She added it to her growing file of evidence, knowing that every damning detail would soon be laid bare in court. The following morning, as the sun rose over Los Angeles, Blake's texts escalated in tone. "I've emptied the account and moved on," he typed, his words dripping with a mix of anger and a misguided sense of triumph. Serena, however, remained resolute. She had learned long ago that the best revenge was not in tearing someone down, but in rising above the ashes of betrayal and emerging stronger than ever. Later that day, as the courthouse loomed in the distance, a stately building that had witnessed countless life-altering decisions, Serena stepped into the fray. The courtroom was a stage set for drama, where legal arguments and personal histories collided in a cacophony of evidence and testimony. On the opposing side, Blake appeared in his new wardrobe, a hodgepodge of trendy, albeit ill-fitting, designer pieces that screamed of his desperate attempt to reinvent himself. His once confident demeanor had given way to a palpable nervousness, punctuated by furtive glances at his phone. Inside the courtroom, Jordan, Serena's formidable lawyer, presented a meticulously organized case. With methodical precision, she unveiled a dossier of evidence, texts detailing Blake's deliberate emptying of their joint account, receipts for extravagant expenses, and even screenshots of his nonchalant announcements on social media. Each piece was a brick in the dam that Serena had built against Blake's reckless ambitions. The judge, a no-nonsense figure with a keen eye for injustice, leaned forward as Jordan laid out the case. "Your Honor," Jordan began, "my client, Serena, has maintained strict separation between her personal finances and her business interests, a separation that Blake's actions have attempted to undermine. The evidence clearly demonstrates premeditated financial misconduct." Blake's lawyer attempted a feeble defense, suggesting that the texts were merely jokes, a claim that elicited a ripple of incredulous murmurs from those present. In a moment that could only be described as poetic justice, the judge ruled that all shared assets were to be frozen pending the final dissolution of their marriage. "Mr. Blake," the judge intoned, "you admitted to emptying a joint account and misusing shared credit cards for personal indulgences. The documentation is irrefutable." As the gavel fell, Serena could not help but feel a quiet satisfaction, a vindication not born of bitterness, but of a steadfast commitment to protecting what was rightfully hers. After the courtroom drama, Blake's plight began to unravel with increasing speed. His desperate attempts to reclaim some semblance of control only deepened his dissent. He tried to assert that the boutique had been his idea, even going so far as to claim a partnership in its creation, a claim deftly refuted by Serena's detailed financial records. His personal life, too, spiraled downward. Madison's initial infatuation gave way to disillusionment, as the harsh light of reality revealed that her glamorous escape was nothing more than a series of poorly conceived decisions. In one particularly ironic twist, as news of Blake's financial misadventures spread through the local grapevine, his own family began to turn against him. Avery, his estranged sister, was overheard whispering to mutual acquaintances about the stark contrast between the man he had once been and the desperate figure he had become. Even his mother, Evelyn, whose initial loyalty had seemed unwavering, could no longer shield him from the truth. "I know we raised you better than this," she lamented during a tearful phone call with Serena, a conversation that, despite its emotional weight, was punctuated by a wry chuckle from Serena at the absurdity of it all. As Blake's world crumbled, Serena's boutique thrived. What had once been a modest shop on a busy Los Angeles street had transformed into a beacon of style and empowerment. The store's success was not only measured in soaring sales figures, but in the community it had fostered, a community of strong, independent individuals who found solace and inspiration in Serena's journey. Young entrepreneurs flocked to her for advice, and local business magazines clamored for interviews, eager to share the story of a woman who had turned betrayal into a stepping stone for greatness. Serena's triumph, however, was not without its bittersweet notes. The divorce, though legally settled, left emotional scars that would take time to heal. Late at night, as the city's neon glow shimmered through her office window, she would sometimes catch herself reflecting on the years lost to Blake's manipulations. Yet, even in those quiet moments, a spark of humor would surface, reminding her that life, much like a well-crafted boutique display, was a delicate balance of art and strategy. One evening, as Serena reviewed the final details of the divorce settlement, a settlement that ensured she retained full ownership of her business and cherished assets, a new text arrived. It was from Blake, his tone now a mixture of desperation and wounded pride. "You think you're so smart, Serena, but remember, you'll need me to keep your business afloat." Serena paused, a rueful smile playing on her lips as she forwarded the text to Jordan. "Let him dig his own grave," she mused silently. His futile attempts to rewrite the past were just another chapter in a story that had long since turned in her favor. In the months that followed the courtroom drama, the boutique continued to flourish. Serena decided it was time to take her success to the next level, expanding her business into a multi-location empire that would serve as a testament to the power of resilience and meticulous planning. The new flagship store, nestled in the trendy arts district of Los Angeles, was an architectural marvel, a blend of vintage charm and modern sophistication. Its walls were adorned with murals celebrating the city's rich cultural tapestry, and every corner exuded an energy that was distinctly, unapologetically American. As Serena oversaw the final preparations for the grand opening, she found herself reflecting on the unpredictable twists that had led her here. The betrayal by Blake, his reckless financial gambits, and even his delusional attempts to claim joint ownership of her life, all of it had coalesced into a transformative experience. In a speech delivered at the grand opening, Serena addressed the crowd with warmth and candor. Some say life is a series of unfortunate events, while others claim it's a matter of perspective. Today, as we celebrate the birth of this new chapter, I choose to see every setback as a stepping stone to something greater. Yes, betrayal stings, and yes, loss leaves scars, but in the end, it is our ability to rise, to reinvent, and to flourish that defines us. Her words resonated deeply with the audience, a diverse group of local artists, entrepreneurs, and dreamers who saw in her story a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. Even Snoop Dogg, who happened to be in attendance for a charity event at the venue, couldn't resist offering a nod of approval as he quipped, "Yo, that is some real talk right there." Yet, as the empire of boutiques expanded, so did the complexities of Serena's personal journey. The legal battles, though officially over, had left lingering challenges. There were moments when the weight of the past pressed upon her, a reminder that success was not the absence of pain, but rather the art of transforming it into strength. Late one evening, while working late at the flagship store, Serena received a call from Evelyn, Blake's mother, who, in a surprising twist, expressed gratitude. "I wanted to thank you, Serena," Evelyn said softly, her voice tinged with regret. "You taught our family an important lesson about accountability and the importance of standing up for oneself. Blake's actions, as destructive as they were, have shown us the true meaning of independence." Serena listened, her heart conflicted yet resolute. She understood that forgiveness did not mean condoning the past, but rather releasing the hold it had on her present. "Thank you, Evelyn," Serena replied. "I believe that every end is a new beginning, and sometimes, the most painful chapters lead us to our greatest triumphs." As the years rolled on, Serena's boutique empire continued to grow. With each new location, from a bustling storefront in downtown Los Angeles to a chic outpost in a revitalized neighborhood, her story became a symbol of empowerment and perseverance. Young entrepreneurs sought her counsel, eager to learn the secrets of separating passion from personal finances, of protecting one's dreams in a world that often thrived on chaos. In one memorable encounter, a young woman named Riley, whose eyes sparkled with determination, approached Serena in the flagship store. "Miss Serena," Riley began hesitantly, "I've been following your story since your divorce. I want to know, how did you stay so calm, even when everything was falling apart?" Serena smiled gently, recalling the long nights and the storm of emotions that had once threatened to overwhelm her. "It wasn't always easy, Riley," she admitted. "There were moments when I questioned every decision I'd made. But I learned that the best revenge isn't in sinking someone else, it's in rising above the pain and proving to yourself that you are worth more than the sum of your disappointments. Trust your instincts, protect your assets, and never let anyone tell you that you're less than you are." Her advice, laced with both practicality and hope, struck a chord with Riley and many others who had gathered around. The boutique had become more than a place to shop, it was a community hub where stories of struggle and success intermingled with laughter, art, and a shared sense of purpose. Not all chapters of this new life were without challenges. Blake, now a shadow of his former self, continued to flounder in the wake of his decisions. His attempts to reassert himself, dabbling in online gambling, investing in dubious pyramid schemes, and even trying to revive a career in corporate management, only served to highlight the stark contrast between his crumbling ambitions and Serena's steady ascent. His occasional texts, laced with bitter accusations and regret, were met with cool indifference. Serena forwarded every one to Jordan, a reminder that his own self-destruction was unfolding in real time. One particularly memorable day, as Serena was finalizing plans for the opening of a fourth boutique location, her assistant, a bright and ambitious young woman, who happened to share the name Madison with Blake's former paramour, though this Madison was entirely different in spirit, stepped forward with a question about the new inventory system. As they discussed logistics over cups of artisan coffee from the local cafe, Serena couldn't help but reflect on the irony. The very name that once symbolized betrayal had come to represent new beginnings for others in her team. Sometimes, Serena mused, the lessons we learn are written in the names we carry, and it's up to us to redefine their meaning. In the same breath, cultural references and wry humor wove through Serena's narrative. At one point during a staff meeting, she quipped, "Remember, folks, life isn't a script written by some midlife crisis. If it were, Blake would be headlining his own reality show on a budget channel. Instead, we're busy writing a blockbuster hit, one where every setback is just a plot twist leading to our ultimate success." Laughter rippled through the room, a testament to the collective spirit that had blossomed under her leadership. The culmination of Serena's journey was marked by a grand celebration that brought together the myriad threads of her life. At the 5-year anniversary celebration of her original boutique, a now iconic establishment that had grown from a modest storefront into the flagship of a thriving business empire, Serena took to the stage before an audience that spanned loyal customers, fellow entrepreneurs, and even a few unexpected guests from the past. Among them was Madison, now transformed by her own journey into a successful social media consultant, and Evelyn, whose presence was a bittersweet reminder of the complex interplay between accountability and forgiveness. In her heartfelt speech, Serena recounted the trials and tribulations that had shaped her. "There was a time when I believed my happiness hinged on someone else's validation, a man who emptied our joint account and believed he could control my destiny with a few cruel texts. But life has a way of teaching us that true strength comes not from holding on to the past, but from embracing the future with open arms and a fearless heart." Her words, resonant with both passion and wit, stirred the crowd. Even Snoop Dogg, who had made a surprise appearance at the event, couldn't help but drop a smooth line, "Now that's how you flip the script, baby." The blend of humor, cultural flair, and raw emotion transformed the celebration into a living testament to the power of resilience. After the event, as Serena mingled with guests and fielded questions from aspiring business owners, her phone buzzed with one final message, a notification from Jordan confirming that Blake's latest petition to revisit the settlement had been summarily dismissed, with court costs ordered to be paid by him. Serena couldn't help but smile. Here was irrefutable proof that sometimes, the best revenge isn't about getting even, it's about getting better. In the quiet moments that followed the celebrations, as the city's neon lights cast a reflective glow over her flagship store, Serena allowed herself a moment of introspection. The journey from heartbreak to triumph had not been linear, it had been a tapestry woven from pain, loss, humor, and unyielding determination. Each boutique location, every carefully documented receipt, and every screenshot of a scorned text message was a reminder of the battles fought, and won, on her own terms. Serena often found solace in the little rituals that grounded her. Early mornings spent walking along the bustling streets of Los Angeles, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sound of street performers, became moments of meditation. In these quiet interludes, she would recall the pivotal moment when she decided to protect her financial independence, and how that decision had blossomed into a legacy that now inspired countless others. Her journey had also reshaped her understanding of family and loyalty. Evelyn, once a staunch defender of her wayward son, now sought Serena's counsel on how to rebuild fractured relationships. Avery, who had once spread gossip fueled by envy and disbelief, reached out with a quiet apology, a gesture that Serena accepted with the grace of someone who understood that even the most flawed characters had the capacity for change. And then there was Bonnie, a longtime friend whose supportive texts and gentle reassurances had provided comfort during the darkest hours. Their conversations, interspersed with laughter and occasional references to classic American movies and rock and roll anthems, served as a reminder that even in the midst of turmoil, friendship could be the lighthouse guiding one home. As the seasons changed, Serena continued to expand her empire. New challenges emerged: a volatile market, the ever-evolving digital landscape, and the delicate balance between work and personal life. But each obstacle was met with the same steadfast resolve that had carried her through the storm. The boutique was no longer just a business, it had evolved into a cultural landmark, a haven for those who believed in the power of reinvention and the beauty of starting over. Serena's story soon caught the attention of a National Women's Business Conference, where she was invited to speak about building and protecting a successful enterprise. Standing before an auditorium filled with eager listeners, she recounted her journey with a mix of vulnerability and humor. "When I received that cold, heartless text from Blake," she began, "I could have let it define me. Instead, I chose to redefine my destiny, one meticulously kept ledger, one empowered decision at a time. Remember, success is not just about what you achieve, it's about the courage to stand up when the world expects you to fall." The audience erupted in applause, their cheers mingling with the subtle strains of an American classic playing softly in the background. In that moment, Serena knew that her story was more than just a tale of divorce and financial maneuvering. It was a celebration of resilience, a call to action for every person who had ever felt underestimated or betrayed. Even as she basked in the glow of her success, Serena remained mindful of the ongoing challenges that life presented. There were days when the wounds of the past throbbed quietly, and nights when doubts crept in despite the accolades and achievements. But in those moments, she would look at the framed screenshot of Blake's final, scornful text, a relic of a bygone era, and smile. It was a reminder that sometimes, what appears to be an ending is merely the prologue to a new beginning. Now, as Serena prepared to open the doors to her fifth boutique, a sprawling space that combined retail with community workshops, art installations, and even a small cafe serving locally roasted espresso, she reflected on the evolution of her journey. The city of Los Angeles, with its vibrant mix of cultures and relentless spirit, had been both the canvas and the muse for her transformation. In a recent interview with a prominent lifestyle magazine, she cited classic American tales of reinvention and quoted lines from iconic films, blending pop culture with personal wisdom. "It's like they say," she laughed, "life is a box of chocolates, except sometimes you get the bitter ones, and you learn to make your own sweet recipe." As the day of the grand opening approached, the boutique buzzed with anticipation. Social media posts, vibrant and full of life, captured the excitement of local influencers and longtime patrons alike. And in a final twist of fate, a text message from Blake arrived, a terse note filled with regret and a hint of desperation. But Serena's response was measured and calm. "Your chapter is over, Blake. Enjoy your new beginning." With that, she sent the message and turned her attention back to the celebration of everything she had built. The legacy of Serena's journey was now imprinted in the hearts of many, a narrative of pain transmuted into power, of loss transformed into luminous success. Her boutique empire stood as a monument to the idea that when life takes an unexpected turn, one can choose to forge a path paved with resilience, creativity, and a touch of humor. Every corner of her flagship store, every display meticulously arranged with care, whispered the story of a woman who refused to be defined by betrayal, instead choosing to shine with the brilliance of her own making. In the soft glow of twilight, as the city of Los Angeles hummed with endless possibilities, Serena closed the boutique's doors for the night. Stepping out onto the quiet street, she breathed in the cool air and smiled at the thought of all the chapters yet unwritten. Her journey had been arduous, laced with heartbreak and hard-won victories, but it was undeniably hers, a story that would continue to inspire, to provoke laughter in the face of adversity, and to remind everyone that sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply living life on your own remarkable terms. And so, amid the neon glow and the distant hum of the city that never truly sleeps, Serena walked forward, confident, unapologetic, and ever ready to write the next page of her extraordinary American tale.